Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For today's video, I am bringing to you the top 5 books you need to read. Right now, it is a time of quarantine. We are not, for the most part, most of us are not either completely working or it's just like a weird time. And I wrote a poem on my Instagram the other day called Liminal Spaces. And pretty much what liminal spaces are is it's the time period between two things. So in this case, between two like events. There is the past and there is the present and there is where we are right now. And right now would be considered like a liminal space. And in this liminal space, I feel like it's really important to kind of bring it back in and maybe self-reflect. And so what better way to self-reflect than by the first book that I have. So the first book recommendation that I have is this book. It is called The 4 Agreements. It is by Don Miguel Ruiz. This book is also available in Spanish for those of you who are interested. And this is it. So pretty much it goes the 4 agreements. I'll give you guys a little preview. It is: be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. So I feel like this book you could potentially read it from front to back, but I feel like it's best and you will get more use out of it if you read it as you need to. It's totally a book that you can just go back and reread as your life progresses. I feel like this book is like also progressing because every time you read it, it's changing as your life changes. Maybe this book takes on like a whole new meaning. Because I know, for example, like, okay, let me see. So there's this page, and one of my notes that I put was, I was like, this can be me as fuck. So if I reread this, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's me as fuck right now. Maybe this is me as fuck when I read this, and then now me reading, if I read it now, I'll probably be like, damn, that shit's not even me anymore. You know what I mean? So this book changes with you. The words stay the same, the lessons technically stay the same, but they just take on a whole new meaning. So I highly recommend this one for a starter. It completely changed my life, and I hope it can change yours. Okay, so another book that I have to recommend to you guys is by this man named Malik Davis. And let's see, okay, so about the author. He is a financial credit consultant with over 23 years in financial services business. He is a mentor to entrepreneurs and credit consultants and the go-to credit guru for today's celebrities. Over the span of his career, he has helped thousands of individuals regain their financial freedom and change their lives. So pretty much this is what the cover looks like. I recently got this one, and again, this is one where it doesn't really do you much good to read from front to back because might be some stuff in between that you don't necessarily, they don't apply to you at that moment. So it's like, why read it from start to beginning? So pretty much from the table of contents, some stuff that it has is, let's see. So it says, tips on credit repair, credit utilization, authorized user, all you need to know about credit profile numbers, credit dispute letters, and just like a whole bunch of other stuff. And some stuff that's really cool about this book is that it has bonus templates. So for example, if you need to request a removal of inquiries, right? So it'll have like a letter written for you, and you just like literally fill in the blanks, and it has to where you're supposed to send it to. And you just pretty much like, it says date, you would insert the date, and it says, to whom am I concerned? I am writing to file a complaint against Ball because of their predatory lending practices. So this is probably a predatory lending complaint. And then it says like, thank you for your assistance. You write your name, your address, city, state, zip. And so it has like a bunch of letters like that. Some other ones it has is a goodwill letter, request to update your credit score, or report settlement of account, reminder to respond 1 and 2. A free credit report, explanation of delinquent account. Ooh, T. So it has like templates for you. So if you ever find yourself needing a template and you're like, how the fuck do I write this? Honestly, this one has letters already written for you and you just fill it in. And yeah, so I highly suggest this one too. And it's never too late to start trying to repair or build your credit. So this one is gonna be a good one for 2020. Another book that is worthwhile to look into is called The Power of Habit. It is by Charles Duhigg. Let's see what it says about him. It was on the Wall Street Journal. It's on Financial Times. Let's see. Some people say it is a flat-out great read. You'll never look at yourself, your organization, or your world quite the same way. It's entertaining, enjoyable, fascinating. Let's see. So pretty much it says The Power of Habit, explanation why habits exist and how they can be changed, distilled very vast amount of information into engrossing narratives, blah, 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 blah. So pretty much, in this book, it pretty much talks about habits, how they are formed. It gives some stories, and it also pretty much tells you tips and tricks as to how you can overcome a habit. We as humans can tend to have good habits as well as bad habits. Good habits, we need to start developing. I mean, they don't just one day we have a habit. It talks about how we kind of, in a way, start developing it and how it stays consistent and how we can continue to further keep a habit. And so it also can maybe help you as talk about how to crush a habit, because there are also habits that hinder our self-growth. So this is a really good read as well. And again, it is called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, something like that. So this book is called Small Doses by Amanda Seales, and this has to be by far my favorite book of all time. I think it is on the pricey side, but I can understand why, because it has a lot of animation, it has a lot of color. For example, like it has color, it has like pages like this. She has her own pictures in here, and it's very like aesthetically pleasing. But that's the aesthetically pleasing part is not the reason why as to this is my favorite book. It's my favorite book because I find Amanda Seales to be such an interesting person. I've watched her from when she was just a special guest on The Real to then they moved her to be like a permanent host. I listen to her podcasts. It's also called Small Doses. And she's just like an all-around striking kind of gal, because she is just, I feel like she's very particular with what she says, and I can really appreciate that in a time where everyone just can babble and jargon. However, I feel like everything that comes out of her mouth is very she speaks very eloquently, and it really shows how intelligent of a woman she is in her book as well, because just everything she talks about, she talks about very respectfully. She's very kind and considerate, and she's very smart and strategic, and that's something I can really admire about her. So for those reasons, she's literally like my role model. And some chapters are ladies first, race realities. In that one, it's side effects of race in the workplace, side effects of the white bubble, side effects of stereotypes, and staying woke. Another chapter is square biz, side effects of being a creative, the come up, the fall off, and being a multi-hyphenate. Chapter 4 is Baywatch, and its side effects of dating in a digital world, the curve, boot up, breakup, and makeups. Chapter 5 is People Are Weird, type A personalities, of side effects of the homies, side effects of being a realist, side effects of haters. And chapter 6 is Glow On, side effects of insecurities, individualism, therapy, and side effects of living your truth. So everything she says in here, it kind of gives a new perspective, and it makes me think like, wow, I didn't think of it that way. So I highly suggest that if this sounds the quite bit as to something you'd be interested in, that you just take a gander at it, because this book is like literally a girl Bible. So I will link this one down below, because if there's any book I want you to get, it is for sure this one. She is such a talented, creative woman, and I think that in a world where everyone is so wrapped up around like social media and social media influencers, I feel like she is such a kick-ass woman, and she's just 100% authentically herself, and that is something that's very refreshing in 2020. So Small Doses by Amanda Seales. The last book that I have to recommend to you guys is 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. It is by a woman named Amy Morin. Amy Morin is a licensed clinical social worker, college psychology instructor, and psychotherapist. Amy serves as very well as parenting teen expert and child discipline expert. So that is definitely something I will be looking into once my child is bigger. So this is also to master your mental strength, so kind of like a self-help, self-growth type of book. Really quickly, I will go through the 13 things mentally strong people don't do. So they don't waste time feeling sorry for yourself, don't give away your power, don't shy away from change, don't focus on things you can't control, don't worry about pleasing everyone, don't fear taking calculated risks, don't dwell on the past, don't make the same mistakes over and over again, don't resent other people's successes, don't give up after the first failure, don't fear alone time, don't feel the world owes you anything, don't expect immediate results. So that's pretty much the 13 reasons, and it sounds very simple, but she goes into each reason very nicely, and it's very smooth how she goes into them. In this book, she gives examples from, like, I think it's like therapy sessions, and it gives examples and stories and like how they were able to like overcome those things. So yeah, this is another good one. And for example, let's see, this is don't fear taking calculated risks. It says, it looks like this, and it's like a checklist like that, and then you pretty much just like check off what you feel as though is something that resonates with you. So it's like you struggle to make important decisions in your life, you spend a lot of time daydreaming about what you'd like to do, but you don't take action, and it goes so on and so forth. And then at the end, it just gives like a little, it says like a lack of knowledge about how to calculate risk leads to increased fear, and fearing risk often leads to avoidance, but there are steps you can take to increase your ability to calculate risk accurately, and with practice your risk-taking skills can improve. So it just has stuff like that, and then at the end of each chapter, or at the end of each thing that people don't, just mentally strong people don't do, it has something like troubleshooting and common traps, and then it has a what's helpful and what's not helpful. So it's like a things to do, like tricks and things to do and things to like avoid. And it does that for every chapter. So I really like that the layout is in a way like kind of very cohesive, and you don't have to guess as to like what's next. You know you're gonna have like a summary, you know you're gonna have a story, you know you're gonna have like a little checklist as to what pertains to you, what doesn't. You know you're gonna at the end of the chapter have like a summary again, and then have tips and tricks, what to do, what not to do. So I like that it's very organized and laid out for you, so you're never like kind of confused, and it kind of gets you in a pattern, which again brings it into this one, the habit pattern kind of goes hand in hand. So and I don't know why, but something I've noticed with like self-help books is that they always come in like yellow, orange, or red. If you know why, please let me know down below. I feel as though the reason would probably be because that way, if like I happen to be wherever you go and buy your books, you see like those colors, and like unconsciously you register them as to, if you like these, you unconsciously register them as to like knowing, oh, let me look at this one, maybe I might like that one. So I like these are the self-help. This is there's not even a word to describe this. I'm just obsessed with this one. So then there's the Amanda Seales one, Small Doses, and Break the Chains, Malik Davis. So Break the Chains by Malik Davis. This is the one to help with your credit. Small Doses, Poetic Truth for Everyday Use by Amanda Seales. The Fourth Agreement by Don Miguel Ruiz. 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. And The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. So these are the books that I highly recommend for you guys to look into and add to your list of 2020. If you have already read these books, comment down below which one you read and what drew you to it and what you took out of it. And also, it'd be really cool if you guys had any book recommendations for me that you can leave down below in the comments. I would love to read those. And yeah, I hope that in this time of quarantine that you guys all find yourself safe at home and content with what you have around yourselves to keep you preoccupied. And so reading is one of my favorite things to do. So hopefully you found something in this video that you can go and look into. And if you do, let me know. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye.